What is up, everyone? Today is Tuesday, which means that's time for another live Q&A. As always, I'm your host, Paul J. Lipsky, here to answer any questions you might have about dropshipping onto different marketplaces like eBay and Facebook Marketplace. If you have any questions after you've watched some of my videos, here is the place to ask them. I do these every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure that you come to one of these live streams and ask any questions that you have. As usual, in the description of this video are a ton of free resources for you. Make sure you do check them out. Downloads there about how to get started with dropshipping, the best software to use, the best suppliers to use. So definitely get those free downloads down below. All right, let me jump into the chat now and start answering some of these questions. I see some here from Lorenzo. So he's first up. Lorenzo says, on one of the Facebook accounts that I'm managing, the blue buy now button is in gray. That means you can't buy anything. I'm still having problems getting in contact with Facebook to fix this problem. Help me. I'm sorry, Paul. I forgot to say, how are you doing? I miss you the last 2 weeks. Come back. Yeah, Lorenzo, I'm doing well. Thanks. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, so the grayed out buy button is some sort of bug with Facebook that I've never gotten a straight answer from them what causes it. Now, luckily, it's never happened to one of my accounts, but I've seen it happen to other people, and there have been products that I've wanted to purchase on Facebook Marketplace, and I can't because the buy button is grayed out. So if you don't know what we're talking about, go onto Facebook Marketplace and start looking at a bunch of items, like open up a bunch of them in different tabs that are available for shipping. And normally, when you scroll down to the bottom of that listing is a blue button that allows you to buy it. Sometimes that button is grayed out. And I've heard rumors as to why that is. I've heard rumors that that means that you've basically had the shipping option disabled, but they don't actually tell you that. So it's kind of like a different way of disabling it. And I've also heard it's just a bug. Like I said, I've never gotten a straight answer from them, but I have heard from people who were able to contact support and get it resolved where the gray is now blue again. So just kind of stick with it and try to contact their support. Hopefully you get it back on that account. It's good to hear that you have more than one account. But yeah, it is frustrating, and it seems like it might just be a bug that's happening with them. All right, Kared says, I started your eBay course. So welcome aboard, Kared. He says he's had a personal eBay buying account since 2015, and he's going to use that account to start selling on eBay. So how does he set up this old account with business policies, site preferences, etc., shown in the course? So the first thing you want to do, Kared, is actually turn this into a business account. I have detailed instructions on how to do that. To be quite honest, I don't remember how to do it off the top of my head, but I do have detailed instructions on how to do that inside my eBay course. So make sure to find that lesson. If you can't find it, post in the Facebook group, and when I'm done with this, I'll go look and find the right lesson for you. But it's somewhere right in the beginning. There's instructions on how to actually set it up or turn it into a business account. That's the first thing you're going to have to do. Now, one problem that people run into is there's instructions in there on how to turn it into a business account. But a lot of times those instructions will not work until you first list an item for sale. So you might have to list an item, then go back, turn it into a business account, and then go through all the steps, because you'll then be able to set up business policies and site preferences and all that stuff. So a multi-step process, but it is achievable. Just, make sure you do everything for it. Big Motivation Daily says, I just opened up an eBay account. I'm wondering when I should start posting products so I can correctly prime my account. Yeah, it's always a good idea when you have a brand new eBay account to not list up items too quickly with it, or kind of jump into things too quickly. And that's because eBay has a tendency to suspend new accounts, and then they'll reinstate your account once you provide some valid proof that you are who you say you are. It's a pain in the butt to do that. So it's best just to avoid that entirely and to kind of go through the process at the correct pace so that eBay doesn't suspend your account at all. So that process really entails signing up for an account, using it, but not listing items, just browsing items inside eBay as if you're a buyer. And then eventually after a week, you can start listing a few items. But you really want to go slowly with this. You really want to wait at least a week before you actually start adding in any sort of products. All right, great question here from Shimu. Shimu says, hi, do you think it's wise to use Fiverr to get dropship items listed on Shop or just use Zeek Analytics alone? All right, so if you're not familiar with Fiverr, Fiverr is a website. I'm prepared today so I can pull up a web browser to show you. So Fiverr is a website where you can pay people to do like these little tasks for you. So if you type in here, eBay drop shipping, I'm sure there's going to be some people in here who are selling products or selling lists of products. So I will do Amazon to eBay drop shipping top listings for you, and it costs $25. Now, I didn't buy from this person, but I did a video a while back where I actually purchased these gigs from Fiverr. I purchased a few of them with my own money and looked at what was given to me. And I got to say, I wasn't surprised, but the results I got were very, very disappointing. The products that these people will give you are not very good. My guess is that they give the same product list to everyone who buys from them. And that's more than just a guess, because I actually created 2 Fiverr accounts and paid one person, like a really high rated person on here. I paid them under both accounts for a list of eBay dropshipping items, and the person gave me the same list to both accounts. So that's going to result in just quick saturation of those products. Like this person, for instance, I'm not saying that they're good or bad. I have no idea. They have over 1,000 feedback. Let's say 1,000 people bought this. Well, if he's giving all 1,000 of them the same products, that's going to become quickly saturated. You see what I mean? So in general, I'm not a fan of this. I think it's much better to find the products yourself using a software like Zeek Analytics, because then you are going to be honing in on it while other people are honing in on other products. So I think it's a much smarter way of going about it. And I would not be using Fiverr if I was you. I'm not sure I understand your question, to be honest. Something about promoted listings not working, it sounds like, but I'm not sure why your promoted listings wouldn't be working. So I'm a little bit confused what your question is. If you want to use promoted listings, then and it's not working for you, probably it's because you haven't signed up for an eBay store subscription. So you can't be on the free eBay plan. You have to be on one of the paid ones if you want to use promoted listings. So that is usually the problem that I see happening for people. David has a great question about product research. David says, when I do product research on Zeek, what is the minimum number of sales for items in the last 30 days to list it? 5 more, something like that. So David, generally I'm looking for 3 or more. Now, obviously the more the better, but as long as it's getting 3 sales in the past 30 days, I'm happy with that. So for those of you who don't know, we use a product research software called Zeek, and that software allows us to scan products on eBay, scan other drop shippers, and will actually show us how often different items are selling, how often they've sold in the past 30 days. So it's pretty easy to find products that have sold dozens of times in the past month, items that have sold several times. I'm looking for at least 3 times in the past month. But again, obviously, the more the better. Frankie says, if you have to rank the order for stores to build out, what would it be? eBay, Facebook, Amazon, etc. Oh, this is a cool question. No one's ever asked me it like this before. So if you're brand new to online businesses, you've never set up a store before, you're looking to get started, maybe you're looking to do drop shipping, I think the best place to get started with that is on eBay. It just tends to be the most beginner friendly. You can get things set up and going pretty quickly with it. So that's where I would start with eBay. Then I would quickly add in Facebook, because with Facebook, you can take what you're doing on eBay and just kind of like modify it. You know, there's obviously nuances to Facebook you really have to understand, but you can take a lot of the same products and list them up for sale on Facebook. So it's kind of like a good companion to eBay. So I would go eBay, then Facebook. Then after that, you can look at other marketplaces. Now, for right now, I wouldn't recommend drop shipping on Amazon. It's not really the best because Amazon isn't the most dropship friendly. So when it comes to drop shipping on Amazon, it's just really hard to work with them as a drop shipper. So I would recommend against that. So after Facebook, I would actually look at drop shipping on Walmart. Now, drop shipping on Walmart is not something that I've spent really any time talking about, except a couple of years ago, I said you shouldn't do it because it's so hard to get approved by Walmart. Well, what I've learned more recently in speaking with some people that I'm friends with who are doing Walmart dropshipping is that it's actually become a lot easier to get approved by Walmart. So if you are doing well with eBay and Facebook, you might want to consider setting up a store on Walmart, because Walmart really seems like a very interesting opportunity right now. Now, here's the interesting thing. I'm always trying to figure out what is next with dropshipping. Where's the next place? What's the next platform to dropship on? Right now, TikTok dropshipping seems to be very popular. Dropshipping with TikTok Shop. And I definitely have my eye on that. I definitely think it's something really cool. We're definitely looking into some stuff with that. But more recently, I've been looking at dropshipping on Walmart because of what my friends are telling me about how well they're doing with it, and because no one else is talking about it. Like, no one is talking about dropshipping on Walmart, and we do have a bunch of people talking about dropshipping on TikTok Shop. So I actually think Walmart is like this hidden gem that no one knows about, because we all heard, which was true, that dropshipping on Walmart a few years ago was just too hard. But now it seems to be working, and no one knows that it's working. So yeah, I'm very interested. I'm very intrigued. I'm talking to my friend a lot more about it because I want to see what the potential is with this, if this is something that all of you out there would be interested in. Let me know if something like dropshipping on Walmart is something that you would want to hear more about, because the things I heard about it were just really, really cool. So if you guys are interested in that, I would love to like make some videos about it and tell you all about it. But yeah, that's kind of the order I would go in when it comes to setting up stores. David says, when I find a hot selling product on Zeek, should I add that item or a similar one? I would add a similar one, David, because then you're not going to be in direct competition with the seller that you found who's already doing well. So that's the way that I would do it. Generally, what we're looking for is a similar item that's around the same price and has a lot of the same features as well, but is not the exact same one. David says, what is the minimum profit? I don't look at a dollar amount for profit. I look for a percentage. In AutoDS, I list my products. I let AutoDS price them based on the settings. So I set it up. I told it what my eBay fee is, what my other fees are, any sort of sales tax I included in there. And I told it how much I want to increase it by to make a profit. So that I set for all my products. I don't really care about a dollar amount because we have a process down with my virtual assistants and with adding items and processing orders that even if it's $1 profit, it's still worth it to do that. So yeah, I'm totally happy with that. Again, it's just like a flat percentage that kind of keeps things more organized and not trying to say, okay, if it's over a certain dollar amount, it'll be this much profit. If it's under, that just gets a bit confusing. I like just one flat profit percentage. Tyler says, have you ever tried drop shipping from Chinese suppliers? If so, what are your insights about it? And is it a good way to grow more if you have only been using USA suppliers? So I have used some Chinese suppliers like AliExpress, CJ Dropshipping, for instance. Generally, for most people, I would recommend sticking with suppliers based in the United States, like Amazon and Walmart, because the shipping times are going to be much faster. There's less customer service you have to do. Returns are a lot easier, so returns are going to be easier. It's just going to be a lot more straightforward process for you as a drop shipper. Now, drop shipping from China, if you're going to do it, the supplier that I've enjoyed the most is CJ Dropshipping. I think they tend to vet their suppliers a lot more than like AliExpress. So if you're going to go for one, that is the one that I would be looking at, CJ Dropshipping. Fu says, I already listed a bunch of items. Should I delete the items and move at a slower pace? I just wouldn't list any more for like a couple of days and then start up at a slower pace. I don't think it's, if you already listed them, I don't think it really makes a difference in terms of priming your account. I don't know. So Oscar says eBay is allowing me to hide my address because it's a personal account. Should I go ahead and do this? Well, I have a business account, so I've never seen that, or maybe it's there and I've never seen it. I don't see why it would affect your sales. So I guess you can go ahead and do it. Honestly, what I've done is I've gotten a virtual mailbox. So like there are these places that in your hometown probably, like if you go to like the UPS store, for instance, a lot of times you can buy a mailbox there and just have an address. You don't want to use a PO box because many places won't ship to PO boxes. It just creates issues. You want like an actual physical address instead. That's what I generally recommend for people who want to like have a separate address for their businesses. They recycle the products. I think he's talking about Fiverr here. Amazon sourcing lists are the same as well. Yeah, that's the issue with them. Amazon sourcing lists are generally used for people who are doing like online arbitrage, which is not drop shipping. Those sourcing lists can be good. I've seen people who make good ones, but you have to, one, trust the person you're buying from, and also trust that they're only going to sell it to a small number of people. Maybe you know how many people, because it's like everyone who's inside of like a Discord group, for instance. So you really kind of want that exclusivity, and you kind of have to trust the person that they're not going to sell it elsewhere. But that's not true. Listings are seen if you don't promote them. So I'm not sure. Yeah, you don't need to promote your listings, but they certainly does help. I've seen it done. Yes. There are people who make $200 or more a day in profit. Health Coach says, I tried promoted listings, but actually I lost money and my products were moving slower, so I turned it off. What's the deal with that? Yeah, so this is a strange thing about promoted listings. And this has been the case with them for years. So promoted listings can help your store or they can hurt your store. I always encourage everyone to try promoted listings. You can set it up. Just set up a campaign for all your products and see if it makes your sales better or worse. Now, obviously, you would think it would make your sales better, but for some people, it does make their sales worse. And I have a theory for this. So bear with me for a second on this theory. So when you're doing promoted listings, you're going to set up a percentage for your campaign, maybe 1%, 2%. So if, let's say you set up a 2% campaign, well, what's going to happen is you're going to show up on page one for some items, and you're not going to show up on page one for other items because other people are going to out promote you for similar keywords, right? And that's all fine and good. Except eBay has this weird thing about promoted listings where if you're showing up in the search results under promoted listings, you will not show up organically. This isn't the case with other marketplaces. You would actually show up twice, and you used to show up twice on eBay. Now you only show up once, either as promoted listings or organically. So let's say you are really good at optimization and title building. So without promoted listings, you are actually showing up on page 1 of the search results for most of your items. Now you run a promoted listing campaign, and now you're actually showing up on page 2 or 3 of the search results as a promoted listing instead of showing up on page 1 organically. So you see how that could actually hurt you. The other potential problem with promoted listings is that if people are using ad blockers, which increasingly people are using ad blockers, you're not going to show up at all. Because again, you only show up once, which is a promoted listing, and with an ad blocker on, promoted listings aren't shown on eBay.com. So again, you have to try it for yourself because it's going to hurt some people, but it's probably going to help more people. But yeah, you got to try it for yourself because every store is different, and it depends on how good you are at like optimization and stuff. Lego My Ego says, how often you pay your eBay bill? It's just all automatic. So when you sell an item, they take their cut off the top, but there are some other costs. Like for instance, you have a store subscription and that's just paid automatically because I have it set up on auto pay. Frankie says, how do you track unsupported suppliers in AutoDS? I have a lot of wholesale sources, but don't see a way to track them. So AutoDS works with a whole bunch of different suppliers. Let me pull up their list here. autods.com. They work with a whole bunch of different suppliers. I don't even think this website is up to date, but I'm not logged in on this browser. So, they work with a whole bunch here. You see AliExpress, Etsy, eBay, Costco, Amazon, Walmart, Banggood, Home Depot, Wayfair. Here's a bunch of other ones. Again, I don't even think this is fully up to date. But you see there's a whole lot here. But it doesn't work with every single supplier out there. So if a supplier isn't on this list, you can always contact AutoDS and actually ask them to add it. But there's no guarantee that they actually will. So it depends on how many people actually request for that. Now, if they're not on this list, then what you want to look for is maybe another software that does have them, like SKUGrid, works with a lot of different suppliers. But when it comes to wholesale, with wholesale suppliers, it's a lot more difficult to find software that works with it. SKUGrid works with some. Also, Inventory Source works with some, but that one's very expensive. But honestly, for wholesale suppliers, we just don't use software. We keep track of stuff manually. Generally, we just have a few winning products from each wholesale supplier, so it's easy to keep track of them. And every time an item sells, we just check, has the price changed? Do we need to update it on eBay? And that's really it. Prices don't change as often as for wholesale products as they do for retail products, so it is less of a concern. Yeah, I have heard of people drop shipping on Mercari as well, so that's pretty cool. Setting up a store with Walmart? Yeah, so that's what people are doing. They're setting up so if you didn't know this, on Walmart is a marketplace. So let me go ahead and share my screen. How do I? Yeah, okay, yeah, good. So if you go to walmart.com, more helps if I can type. Walmart.com. And let's search for like tables here. Some of these products are being sold by Walmart and others are not. So let's see if I can find, most of these are sold by Walmart. I have a lot of stuff on my screen, so it's kind of hard to see. All right, let's check out this one right here. This one is sold and shipped by this company, right? That's not Walmart. So if I were to buy this company would ship it to me. It's possible they're drop shipping, right? They could be drop shipping from like Amazon, for instance. So this item would then be sent to me from actually Amazon. So that's what people are doing. You got to be careful with it because you can't just drop ship from Amazon. Like, that's a bad example. There are tricky ways that people are doing this, so they're staying compliant with Walmart and not getting in trouble with them. But yeah, that's what they're doing. They're setting up a store. Those are kind of, there's hurdles with it, right? And one of the hurdles is actually setting up a Walmart account to be able to do this. And then the other problem with it is really learning how to do it properly so that you don't get in trouble with Walmart. All right, you seem like you guys are excited for it. Yeah, so it is more difficult, but it's definitely more possible than you might think. Lorenzo says, I heard with Walmart, you have to have your LLC before you start selling. Yeah, that's one of the hurdles. You have to have a business set up. Yeah. So you really need an LLC before you start, or some sort of business. Julie says, do you have any idea why some companies are against dropshippers? I mean, it's money in their pockets, so why would they not like it? I've thought a lot about this. So like Target, for instance, doesn't want you drop shipping from them. Costco will allow you to do it up to a certain number of addresses per month. Why is that when it's just more money in their pocket? You know, I'm not 100% sure. I think maybe some of them have had issues maybe with returns or dealing with drop shippers or resellers. Because it's not just drop shippers that they don't like. They don't like resellers in general. So if you go to Target, for instance, and you see something on clearance and you try to buy all of them to resell them on Amazon, Target can actually say, no, we're not going to let you buy them. They might have a managers come out because they think you're a reseller. So it's interesting. And I think it's because they're afraid it's going to mess up the experience for the average consumer, right? They don't want one person going into Target and buying up like all of this product, and then someone else goes in there and says, oh my gosh, Target never has what I want, or they never have what they say is on sale, so I'm not going to go there anymore. That's kind of my theory as to why they don't like it. But obviously it works out for other suppliers. So yeah. Oscar says, I had an item that sold multiple times in the past, but it has not sold in a while. Should I delete it and move on, or relist it to make it look new? I would go ahead and, so normally if an item doesn't sell, I just delete it from my store. Don't worry about it. If you don't have a lot of products that are selling well, then yeah, you might want to actually delete it and relist it just to see what happens. But generally, if an item doesn't sell or stop selling, I just delete it. Lorenzo says, going to sellers conventions for e-commerce in Las Vegas or any convention, do you have to have an LLC to go to the convention? So if you mean like you're trying to meet wholesale suppliers, then no, you don't need an LLC. But it would certainly help to have a legitimate business, make you look more legitimate. But generally, no. If that's what you're talking about. Do you recommend Walmart Business? So I think you mean Walmart Plus. No, Walmart Plus doesn't work for drop shipping. If you set up a Walmart Plus account, you'll start buying items and shipping them to customers, and it will work for a little bit. And then Walmart will actually shut down your account and say, hey, you can't use Walmart Plus for drop shipping, but you can use regular Walmart. All accounts have holds on payments, so you're never going to get rid of that entirely. How does dropshipping on TikTok work? Yeah, good questions. So that's TikTok Shop. Involves adding product to TikTok shops. Some of it's just going to sell organically, and some of those items are you can have influencers actually promote them. So this whole like flagging the system thing has not been an issue. So yeah, we use multiple locations in the past. Now I just use my local zip code and have had no issues with it. There's a, yeah, I don't know the exact, what are you asking here? Setting up a store. You need an LLC and a credit card to match more? When you go through the Walmart application process, they'll tell you exactly what you need. Yeah, that makes sense, Jeremiah. So yeah, if you're paranoid about it, and you want your item location to actually match where you actually, if you want your item location to match closely to where the items are shipping from, you can use some of these services. Like Track Taco can have an origin for the tracking numbers, and Aqualine does the same thing. So if it doesn't cost you anything extra, go ahead and use it. But like I said, it hasn't been an issue. Frankie says, how many items do you list on eBay before you saw consistent and daily sales? I honestly don't remember. It was less than 100 though, because I spent so much time doing product research. And that's, people often ask me how many items do you have to have listed to make X amount or to make consistent sales. And it really depends, because if you're good at product research and optimization, you don't need a lot of products. I see stores with few products doing really exceptionally well because they're great products that were well researched and well optimized as well. So, all right. All right, do we have any last questions? I've reached the bottom of the list here of questions, but I want to give anyone a chance to ask any follow-up questions or any last questions before we close this out for this week's live Q&A. I just want to remind everyone who's still watching, in the description of this video are linked to a bunch of free resources for you. Definitely check those out. And always let me know in the comment section what you are most interested in when it comes to drop shipping. Like I said, the two things on my radar right now are TikTok Shops drop shipping and Walmart drop shipping. They both have their pros and cons, but honestly, I want to do the one that you guys, or dive into the one that you guys are the most excited for. So let's kind of explore this together. You can let me know which one you want me to research and actually start and make some videos on. So you guys let me know what you want to see on this channel. That's why it exists. So just leave a comment letting me know what you are the most interested in. But other than that, I really appreciate you all coming out. If you enjoyed this and got some value out of it, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that. That is my daily motivation right there. So that might go up on my wall. Appreciate you all. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next Tuesday.